Hello and welcome back to another episode of Geeks Around the Mic. I'm your host Patrick, and with me always is my good friend Scott, and we are here to review the final episode of The Last of Us Season 2, Episode 7, and oh my god,
it's finally finished.
It's finally over. It's finally...
I just have disappointment, or just disappointments. Yeah.
Yes.
What a
it
shit
started
show.
off really good. It started off as a strong path, and then
we were right.
gone off a different path.
Episode 2 was the best episode. They did not get any better than that throughout the entire thing.
Yeah. I thought
crazy
1,
how,
2, and 6 were the best episodes.
Yeah, I agree. But it's crazy how different in quality it was. It felt like it was two different big writers writing the show, and someone said this online as well that I saw today, where they said it was like 15 people were in the writers' room and only one of them played the game, and he was trying to explain to the other 14 what happens in the game, and because it's unfortunately, I think the show has become another example of video game adaptations that don't understand the source material. They think they do more than other stuff, like Halo and other things that we've seen before that are butchered stuff, but this just not. It's not good. And this is coming from someone who wasn't even a fan of the second game. I can't imagine how fans of the second game are feeling after this, because I feel like I want those 7 hours of my life back.
Yeah. I just don't get why these studios and Hollywood, they never follow the source material like they do, but just not much, and it just makes big controversy for the medium. So
because their egos, they make them, their egos make them believe that they can do a better job and they can translate it to TV better, and they think, well, we've got the money, we've got the the resources, we've got the Hollywood thing backing us up, we can do a better job than these loser video game developers. And I respect them for bringing in Neil Druckmann and letting him direct episodes and having it be more creatively involved and everything, but it's just not worked, and what we get is not a compelling story. And obviously, not to talk about more the overall show itself, it's obviously we're here to talk about episode 7, but yeah, this just hasn't worked for me at all. I think I liked, a quarter of it. Like I said, episodes 1, 2, and 6 were genuinely very good.
And those were the only episodes with Joel in it as well. That's
and I was that's it. But
when I think about it, I was just like, oh wait, those episodes have Joel in it, and I'm like, am I being hypocrite here? Only liking it because Joel's in it, but no.
Yeah, I think it's important to make sure you appreciate the rest of the characters and story and everything, because it comes across disingenuous if you just think, oh, it's only I only like Joel. That's not what we're saying. It just so happens to be that those are the best episodes with Joel in. But that's probably because the best dynamic of the show is Ellie and Joel, just like the game was, and just like the game, they never found a better replacement for Joel and Ellie and their dynamic. No matter what side characters you introduce, no matter what themes and big wars you have with the wolves and the scars, nothing is as good as Joel and Ellie's relationship and how that was developed in the first game and the first season. Nothing comes close, and this proved it again. So, yeah, really disappointing. But should we go ahead and go into the structure of the episode and what happens?
Yeah, I got to start though. Throughout the whole show, visually this season has been amazing. The whole of Seattle, and I just thought that was the only bit that was holding it together. But the script writing for me is just what brings it down, and also some of the character decisions, the changes they made for Bella Ramsey's Ellie was just, especially in the scene with Jesse and her arguing, which we'll get later into the podcast. It's just the part that really made me hate this Ellie a lot more now, and it's really making me doubt with Bella Ramsey's performance now. And it's not her fault. Like you said in the other episodes, it's the writing that's the fault here. Not
the writing
her.
holds them back, and because you can be the best actor in the world and still get a bad script and it makes you look bad. There's been countless movies and TV shows. I'm not going to name any because I don't want to trigger anyone, but there's been countless times when the writing has held people back, but then they give a great performance elsewhere. Because Bella Ramsey, I believe, is great. People like them in Game of Thrones.
That was her first appearance.
There's also that recent drama with Jodie Whittaker. I don't know if you've seen that. I've seen clips of it where she's in prison and
she's pregnant in that one. I can't remember.
Yeah,
but I know the one the show you're talking about.
Yeah, so they're a great actor, but it's just I think and like I said, I really liked her in the first season as younger, first game Ellie, but I think in this show and this season I just not liked her as do you want
to hear something crazy as well, mate? I've just seen this today on social media. It was Bella Ramsey in training. And you ever seen those videos of Keanu Reeves training for the John Wick movies?
Yeah.
Well, it was showing one of the videos of Bella Ramsey training, and not gonna lie, she looked badass. She looked like she was like a
really?
John Wick. And to me, I'm like, why wasn't any of this in the show? Why was why didn't we get this badass Ellie? Instead, we just got this.
What does she do?
I don't know. Like, it makes me think.
Yeah, it's just crazy.
Makes me think. And they filmed scenes with her being like really badass, but they cut them out, or they just didn't. Like, what was the point in all that training?
Yeah, because even like when she's shooting a gun, she looks like a scared kid, like in the train, in the tube, and she's like, oh, she's like, oh. She just looks like a bumbling idiot. And that, again, no offense, but. And I think some people are saying, well, you can't just have her be killing people all the time. That's not how you do a TV show. That's all for gameplay. I understand that. However, the action in that game serves a purpose rather than just, entertainment. It's to show like how far she's willing to go to avenge Joel, and the depths she's going to put herself in, and like the risk she's putting herself in just to get to Abby. It's not just a case of, we want a badass action sequence. It's like there's so much stuff. So yeah, it's a shame that none of that was in the show. And like I said, episode 6 could have given us a Joel and Ellie moment one more time, but no, we don't get that here either. So it's all for nothing, really. Yeah.
But we'll get to like the start of the episode, because it finished off right at the end of episode 6, where Ellie arrives back at the theatre, and she reunites with Dina and Jesse, and Jesse's like performs like surgery by removing the arrow. I thought that was a bit brutal. Like, he pushed the whole arrow through. Good. I was like, oh god. And then obviously with Dina, wouldn't take the alcohol because obviously she was pregnant, but then later on Jesse pieced it together. Like, Dina wouldn't turn down a free drink, so he clicked together that she's pregnant. That was a good scene. It makes Jesse, like, Jesse's like one of the best, like, Dean and Jesse, best, they go from being, it's funny because in the game they go from being sort of the weaker parts of it, as a lot of people said, to like the best supporting characters in this show. I think that's because of this, showing just how capable they are as survivors. And Ellie just seems like a bumbling idiot they got to drag through in comparison, and it's hilarious. And they're not equals in this show like they were in the game at all. But yeah, it was a good sequence, and yeah. In a way, Ellie should have been like Dina's character in the show. Do you reckon? Like, I feel like they should have swapped performances. I feel like Ellie should have been like Dina.
Yeah, it seemed Dina was more like wanting to. Yeah, Dina was more convicted in avenging Joel than Ellie was. She seemed more motivated. There is obviously a turning point in this, because after the Jesse tending to the arrow and everything, Ellie comes back, and we get that scene in the game where she takes Ellie's shirt off and cleans her wounds and stuff. How does she even get injured though? Because is that just chasing Nora? Like,
she probably banged into. Didn't she fell on the lift, or was that Nora who fell on the lift?
I think Nora did, but Ellie did. I'm not quite sure, but I think something happened that. Yeah, I mean, it's probably something missed.
But in the game though, like, there's loads of reasons Ellie has bruises on her back, like with all the combat.
She's been through a lot. Yeah, but then again, she's not been through anywhere near as much of that in the show, so it doesn't. Yeah, again, it's not a thing that makes sense. But whatever, it's fine. Move on. So we get that sequence, and that's when I actually like the bit when Ellie is talking to Dina, and she confesses that she knows why Abby killed Joel, and then she explains what Joel did with the cure and stuff. And then Dina says, we need to go home. And I like that realization that Dina realizes, Joel wasn't some innocent victim here. They wanted to revenge for what he did. So that I like that sense there. But it was a cool way to sort of show, they're trying to sort of have this confliction of whether they should be here or not. And everyone's saying to Ellie, look, we need to give this up now. We need to go home. So that was cool. But
and also Dina giving Ellie the bracelet as well, Dina's lucky charm, which I actually have though, because you get them in the Last of Us Part 2 Collector's Edition, which I was able to get.
Okay.
Saying, but it comes with it, and it's a nice one. But I kept it in the packet. I didn't open it. It's got it in the Collector's Edition box somewhere. So I thought I'll get that out and show it, but
we don't have time for that.
No reason to.
They should know. This episode doesn't deserve. It doesn't deserve your unboxing. Put it, keep it in there. It was a great episode, maybe, but not, it's not worth it. Yeah.
But then after that, Jesse and Ellie go out to find Tommy, and then we have that whole encounter with the Scar being captured by the wolves, and that scene. I've said to you before, that was just that was so not Ellie though. Like, the way she wanted to go and save the wolf. Like, what is she doing? Ellie in the game would never do that. She would keep her guard, stay silent, and let them carry on. But
because she's a dumbass. Because she's an idiot in this version. She's a complete. They've made her a complete dumbass. There's no survivability at all. it's a miracle she's still alive. I don't understand why they made her such a bumbling
she's only alive
idiot.
because of Dina and Jesse. Mainly Jesse.
And it's like...
And he's the one who gets it in the end of the episode.
Yeah.
Going ahead here.
It's his fault. Yeah, jumping ahead. Also, Jesse, every 5 seconds, saying, I hope I don't die. I've got to, I'm a father now, Ellie. I've got to get my kid out of here. I'm just 2 days from retirement. I'm just 5 minutes from my nice, I'm just 5 minutes from my shift before I can go home forever. Nice and, I've got my picket fence waiting. But sure, it's just like, okay, we get it. Jesse's gonna die.
I'm not gonna die here. And then he gets shot, and then that song plays in the background. Bum, bum, bum.
Oh god, it was laughable because especially
Goodbye,
because we know
Jesse.
it's happening. It's like, oh yeah, because we know it's happening. It's like, oh okay, we get it, Neil. We get it, Craig. We want to be. You want us to feel bad that Jesse's gonna die. We get it. It's just it was quite like very fourth wall breaking. He may as well look at the camera and be like, you know what I mean? Like it was very like office moment, sort of like I hope nothing happens to me. It was very done. But and the whole and the whole sequence is silly because it shows Ellie's like got no survivability. Like, she got no survival skills, and I get they're trying to show, like, she's conflicted because deep down she's a good person, and maybe this revenge she's going on is against her moral code, but she wants to do it for Joel. But they're just not doing it in a way that, like, where she's mature and actually knows what she's doing. I think it would have been better if she had, like, chose to spare somebody, maybe, when she could have killed them. But then, but just walking out into the line of fire and wanting to go after this kid that you don't know, it's like, you're going to get yourselves killed. Like, it's just ridiculous. So, they're doing it in a way that makes her an idiot, and it's, like, it's unlikable, and it's silly. But they're doing it because I think they're so scared to make fans hate her like they hate, like, because of the stuff she does in the game. Because by the end of the game, people do not like Ellie in terms of because of what she's done. I think there was a discourse there, and, like, she's done horrendous things now. And they're just scared to let that happen in the show because, they don't want people to root against her or something, I don't know. Which makes me wonder how it's going to work with Season 3 when you're supposed to root for Abby or at least be conflicted. But then, even like in the end of the game, well, not to get ahead of ourselves, we can talk about that more later, of course, but, there's a sequence that happens and you think that they want you to make that more believable, I think, but you're sacrificing everything that is meant to be iconic and good in the game that fans love by doing this, and it's character assassination. It's one of the worst character assassinations I've seen in a long time. Do
you give examples?
Probably, I don't know, what can I think of? Another video game adaptation, Master Chief in Halo, like the show there, like when he takes like that, it's up there for me. Like, in the episode 1 when he immediately takes his helmet off, and that's when you realise, oh, these guys don't know what they're doing. This isn't Master Chief. This isn't Halo. Making him this bumbling idiot that, rebels, and no, that's not Master Chief. Showing his face.
And that's why he only got 2 seasons.
Yep. And I think this, I genuinely will not be surprised if they cancel this after the 3rd season, because I think if they continue to lose viewership, with the amount of money they're putting in, HBO might say, nah, we're not funding this because
they'll probably decide, just finish it with Season 3, wrap it up. We'll give you 8 to 10 episodes to finish it off, but we're not gonna... I
mean, they should have done here, they should have done this, there should have been episode 8 or 9 this season. You don't rush as much of Ellie's stuff, and then Season 3, if you have to make a 3rd season for Abby, do it in a 10-episode run, and then maybe episode 9 and 10 maximum should be the Santa Barbara stuff in the epilogue of the game, but they're going to drag it out, and I'm shuddering at what they're going to do. I started off in the season intrigued at what they could do, and now I'm just thinking, no, we're getting ahead of ourselves.
People are going to be logged off by the time.
Yeah,
by the time
no one's
they
going
get
to
to
care.
season.
No one's going to care.
And like I was saying to you before, like they were saying, like filming will begin until next year, and it will be probably 2027. We'll get Season 3, and people by the time that comes out, people will be logged off and not interested.
No one's gonna care. Who cares? Who genuinely, if anyone plays the game, who loved anyone who loved the second game, who's genuinely excited now? Like, who is excited? I don't understand how you can be. Even if you adore, Abby as a character, fair enough. It'd be exciting to see how they do the Abby stuff. If you love the Abby stuff, I get that. But like, we've seen how they've done the Ellie stuff. So what makes you think they're gonna do that justice? And unless they somehow get Abby better, because Abby seemed more like Abby in the 2 episodes, or 2 episodes she was in the season, 2 and a bit with this final scene than Ellie has been the entire
3
season.
in total, but...
Yeah, so maybe they'll get her better, and we might end up rooting for Abby more than Ellie. That's how bad of a job they've done with Ellie.
I feel like it's going to end up like that, though. People are going to be so...
The memes are going to be hilarious.
Abby's story, because Abby's story to me was like really good. Like it was like her part was probably the best part of Ellie because she had more action and there was more horror for Abby's story as well for what she went through.
But will they include this though? Will they include all that stuff? We'll have to wait and see. I don't know. But see, we get the sequence where Ellie is a complete idiot and Jesse says, "No, don't get yourself killed." And then we get this bit when we see, is it Tommy pinning down the people with the sniper? Like, that's a bit from the game. I remember that scene, which is quite cool. I'm intrigued to see that bit.
Ellie was, like, being a brat.
Yeah, and it's like, and she's like, fuck the community! And I'm like, what do you... No.
I know, yeah.
I'm like, look,
bloody hell.
I understand that you want to put Joel's revenge over everything else, but you're just being stupid. And it's like, the issue is that it doesn't seem like Ellie and Jesse are peers. It seems like it's like, Jesse is like a mature adult survivor in this situation, and Ellie is a immature, stupid brat that he's having to coddle like an older sibling. Like, it doesn't seem the same. I think it also doesn't help that like Bella Ramsey and even Isabel Marcelo, they're both like significantly shorter than the actor who plays Jesse as well. Like he's a big, like he's like a tall dude.
Jesse, where are you?
Oh, yeah, he's like he's a tall dude, so the body doesn't help. But I think it seems like Ellie is just a child in this. She doesn't look any more mature than than season 1 version at all, and it's just not, and I think honestly that is partly Bella Ramsey's performance in terms of how she's acting, because they're not playing it any different to how they played it in season 1. Maybe slightly different, but not a whole lot. Whereas Ashley Johnson in the game, her performance is different. Like, different compared. You go back after playing the second game. Go back and play the first game. See how different Ashley Johnson is as Ellie. It's crazy. I remember seeing clips of the second game, hearing her voice, and then playing the first game, thinking, "Wow, what a difference!" Because not just because of her age, because of what she's been through. You could not. You play me a clip of Bella Ramsey as Ellie. You could not distinguish which season it's from, unless you get. You know what I mean? Just hear her voice talking. You couldn't tell, and that's crucial. Whereas you could hear the difference with Ashley Johnson. So, and I'm not trying to spew this as like Bella Ramsey hate, because God knows they got enough of that the last few weeks when the show came out. But that is a big factor, and it is, and I think the HBO, have been forced to address, like, maybe we shouldn't have casted her in this, or maybe we should have recasted for an older Ellie or something, because I just think that they are unfortunately one of the weaker aspects, and it is the writing, it is making her out to be an idiot, but that scene is just terrible. And then we get that scene, and then so obviously she goes off on her own with the boat, and that's a bit when you said in the game, is that when we start to see some different points of view of stuff, and we can see some things from season 3 that can be explored.
Yeah, there are hints to like season 3 stuff, which we'll get into in a bit. But that's the thing they added as well. Ellie never goes onto the island, but in this episode, she accidentally strands on the island by getting hit by the.
Into the.
I know. I was like, don't tell me they added the big massive sequence of her roaming the island. I'm like, bloody hell. She never even goes to the island.
What is the point of that sequence? Answer me that. What is the point of that scene? What is the point?
No reason.
She goes on to... It's to show she's a bumbling buffoon. She's a moron. She goes to this island, almost gets killed by the scars, and then they do the typical plot on the thing where they're about to kill her, and they get a thing. Yeah. And it's like some Lara Croft, Tomb Raider thing, where like the trio was about to kill her, and then she escapes. And they're like, no, leave her. No, you would still kill her, you still got time. But no, they don't, because it's Ellie, and it's plot armor. But... And then she just gets back on the boat and goes. I was like, you just wasted 10 minutes. What was the point of the sequence? She sees this kid that like is. I mean, I don't know what the point of that was. That she was gonna like. I thought the kid was gonna say no, she's good, and I was like, okay, that would have been interesting. But no, they just say no, kill her. I was like, what is the point of this sequence? I don't understand.
I think they wanted to add like, because this is all going to reference back when season 3 comes out, because that horn we heard is. The WLF have arrived at the island to attack the Scars. And I was telling you this before, when Ellie leaves the island and she gets that boat that just magically appeared, I think that's the boat that Abby uses to get onto the island.
Oh, okay.
Because eventually, guys, Abby does go on the island that same day and night.
Yeah,
but obviously, when season 3 comes out, we'll talk about that. But I won't go into the whole story of the reasons why she's there.
Much, yeah. I remember there was a sequence in the trailer when they revealed. Yeah, do you remember in the trailer when they revealed? No, it was after the first announcement for The Last of Us Part 2 in E3, and they showed it was when was Abby tied up, and we didn't know who Abby was at that point.
Yeah.
And I was like,
people thought it was like
that's what I
an older Ellie. Like years down the line, older Ellie.
I remember some people thought. It
was
Ellie's
mum, actually, maybe. No, take that back. No, Ellie's mum. Sorry.
Yeah, probably would have been a better story. I don't know.
I know. Yeah, that would have been a better story. Yeah.
Yeah, but like, little did people know how significant that character would be. But yeah, so it, and then we get the scene. I think we're just going through this all because we just there's not. But we get the bit where again visually, yeah, it's great that we get to see the aquarium and everything else, and it's all great and everything. We'll
see a lot more of that in season 3 though. They'll open that
the scars
up more for season 3.
The scars versus the wolf fight. If we get that as their big, like if they get that as their big sequence, like episode 2 was in this season, like all the budget goes into that, I'll be excited to see. But again, that's just because it's not
before you get into the aquarium bit. I just realised that there was a moment with Isaac as well when the lieutenant, the soldier, comes to speak to him.
Yeah.
The bit that he said though, like Abby's the future. I was like, oh, this is new because they never really focused that in the video game. Because Abby was just like another soldier for Isaac, but in this show they make out that Abby's like the next leader, the next Isaac for the WLF when Isaac goes. So, and he wants to know where Abby is because if he dies that night in the battle, they need someone next in charge to take over.
Yeah. Does Isaac? Well, I don't want to spoil the game or the season 3, but does he? Do we think he's going to make it or not?
I'm trying to remember what happened. It's been a while since I played the game, but I think he does get shot, but they don't show him being killed though.
Right.
I don't know. It's been a while. Don't quote me, guys. Like it's been quite a while since I played part 2. But I feel like after watching season 2, I feel like replaying the games again now. I might replay them after.
Yeah, I mean,
show.
I might watch some gameplay footage. To be fair, like even just to cherry pick some stuff, really. Cause
you know what? Come over to mine. We'll have a few drinks and I'll play the game. You'll be like, "This bit is disgrace."
But if you let me control some of the combat, I'll definitely play it. I wish I could get a version of the game where I could just handpick combat sections that I'd like to play because the gameplay itself did look fun. I refuse to play it because of the story, but I would like to play the combat sections. Or maybe like the new bit where you can actually play. You can play as Joel now in the new combat mode, can't they? Like you do like a. I've seen that recently.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, I've got the remastered upgrade. So if you want to come round to mine and play as Joel again,
sounds fun. Get the comments, guys. Yeah.
But go back to the aquarium. You were saying, mate.
Yeah, so then we get that sequence, and this is obviously a cool visually. Again, visually, the props to HBO and everyone else involved because they did a great job with everything. Just like the game, it's the game was a technological marvel on PS4 when it came out, and now the show is following its footsteps. So just wish that the rest of it was good. But we get that sequence, and we get quite possibly the dumbest death or kill. How they decided to do it like this when they watched the game version, because I've seen the game version where Ellie kills Mel and Owen, and it's much better done, I think, in the game because she does it in self-defense, but then it's like, if you want to hit home, it contradicts itself because they want Ellie to be better morality-wise, but then they also want her to feel worse for her actions. But it's like, well, you can't have her do this in accent. So when, she's asking where Abby is and points to map. Also, did you get the bit where, she has to point on the map and that's the same thing that Joel made, David's guys do?
Yeah, the same tactic, matching it up, the two people, yeah.
And then Owen, in his dumbassery, draws a gun and then bam, Ellie just shoots him. Self-defense. She's justified in that. Because she literally said to him, I'm going to let you go if you tell me where Abby is. So it's like, and then the bullet somehow conveniently catches Mel in the neck, and then she's lying down, and while she's bleeding out, she's telling her to get the baby out because she found out she's pregnant.
I know. I thought that was so I thought that was so horrible.
Sad.
That scene, it was horrible in the game, but this one was hard to watch. It's like asking Ellie to get the baby out. I'm just like, oh wow.
Yeah, it was. It reminded me of The Walking Dead. If anyone if you know, you know, the first 3 seasons, but yeah, it's just, and I'm very conflicted on that because I think in the game it's quite dumb in the sense of like hiding Mel's baby bump, because in the game Mel is like obviously pregnant throughout the entire of Abby's sequences, but she conveniently wears a full big coat so Ellie doesn't see, because they want the fan to be like, oh, she was pregnant. Whereas in the show they did it differently, because obviously they did the 3-month time jump, so obviously Mel could be hiding it, because obviously 3 months later there's going to be more of a bump, but then obviously the next time you see her, she doesn't know then. But it's a bit like, I don't know, I just find it really dumb. And I think that like Ellie just like it takes so much away from Ellie's like vengeance path, and it's all just ridiculous. And I mean, what do you think? Did you think it was better than the game, or do you think it was like worse or
terrible?
Good, or
worse.
Do you think
it was worse than the? Oh wait,
like emotion.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Like it was so dumb. Like how Ellie just shoots one bullet and kills them both instantly. Like it should have really been like what they did in the game when Mel attacks with a knife and Ellie with self-defense.
Because what's the point of like her training? Like she just all this training she was doing with Jesse in the first episode. What, she gets like 1 kill with a WLF soldier in episode, like, was it 3? Like, what is the point? If you're gonna like, I don't know. Like you said, Bella Ramsey doing all this firearm training. What is the point of it if she's not going to, if Ellie's not going to be this John Wick badass, murderer? Which again is not just because for the sake of action, for the sake of it. It's to show you how far she's willing to go to avenge Joel. It's a big difference, and I think that, I understand that, like, budget and TV shows, you can't do as much action, but this is just stupid, and they're not giving us the same compelling themes of revenge and that they want to show, and if you're going to have these themes of revenge and the cycle of violence, then show it, show the violence. But they don't, and so we get this dumb scene, and Ellie's all traumatised and stuff again. Then Tommy comes in, and then this is obviously like the game is in it, because Tommy comes in, and it's like, whoa, it's me, like, we got to get out here. And then, but I don't know. So do you think we're going to see, like, obviously we're probably going to see Tommy's point of view, or what he was doing in season 3, do you think?
Definitely, yeah. We'll definitely see his point of view. Like the moment, when Tommy, when Jesse and Ellie were talking and they're arguing, and while Tommy's, like, shooting and all that. We will be getting that in season 3 from Abby's perspective. Mm-hmm. And it'll be interesting to see Abby's perspective, though, in the show, though, with Tommy, though, because, like, I think it's... Because when you see it from Abby's point of view in the game, you kind of dislike Tommy at certain moments. But I know there's some people out there who are like, oh my god, yes, Tommy killed that guy. Manny. I'm like, Manny, have you seen that video of a streamer girl? She's like streaming that moment when Manny gets killed by Tommy, and she's like celebrating, like, woohoo, I hated that guy. I'm like, bloody hell, there's people out there just like...
Because he spat on Joel's body. It's
But what you see from... I know, I can't really...
I get what you mean. I get what you mean. I think the problem is that we don't care about these characters as much as we cared about Joel. It's all about how much you care about the characters. And with Abby as well, the reason why people don't care about her story, not like her, is because you introduced her killing off this character that people love. And you can have good writing, but if you start that off, it's going to be so hard to get people on board. And if you're not on board from the get-go, it's just not going to work. It's a paper-thin premise. And this is why a lot of YouTubers and Let's Players, the sequence when Abby is fighting Ellie in the theatre, they immediately run out of cover. There's a compilation where Let's Players immediately let Ellie kill Abby.
100 Ways to Die. 100 Ways to Die.
Yeah, because they don't like her, because you kill off a beloved character, and you got to really commit to that if you want to do it. And, I just think that they didn't do a good enough job of making us like the characters. They certainly don't doing a good enough job of making us like, Abby's friends, like Owen being the cheater, all these people. Like, no one cares. So with that, I'm not surprised people are cheering. Bit dark if you're cheering for a death.
That's what it is, dark, though.
But, like, in terms of, like, not being sad, no one's going to be sad for these people. No one cares. So... I get what you're saying, but I think I'm excited to see Tommy, murk some folks as well. I have an issue with Tommy in the end of the game, which I guess we can talk about more in this series review, because I feel like it's going to be 2 years since the show, next season. I may as well talk more stuff. But
to finish it off, we got the fight.
Flips it. No, just say he's changed. Sorry, he flips, so we can talk about later. But we can move on.
Yeah, well, like I said, we'll see from Abby's perspective, from Tommy's his side of the stories that we don't see in this season. But no, just to wrap it up, we'll finish it off. Like, this one was like step by step, the final part in the game when Ellie and Jesse run out because they hear a struggle from Tommy, and then
just get
guess who arrives?
Yeah, our favorite
Abby.
character.
We've not seen it since episode 2.
Yes, So, and she's soaking wet. There's like, with the rain, she's got the like leather jacket on.
Have you
it's
noticed
cool. It's
though?
like
the people online saying, if you look at her neck though, she's got like rope beds on her neck, so that obviously
okay. Maybe she was
hits the idea that she's been hung by the scars, which happens to her in the game. So there's evidence on her that she's been through a lot.
Yeah, she's been through
which
some
we'll
shit
see in season 3.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because I feel like they probably will cut out a lot of stuff like they did with Ellie stuff, because I feel like Ellie doesn't go through anywhere near the same amount of stuff. Also, just funny, also just to go way back to the beginning of the episode, Jesse mentions that the horses are okay in this version, whereas in the game they die. Like Shimmer's okay.
Oh, I know.
Because, we can't kill a horse.
Dog, I was going to say, the dog wasn't added in that scene.
Yeah,
as well. Remember,
I
said that in the last episode. I hope they did do it. But actually, Craig Mason has come out to say the reason why they didn't add that scene, and I've got the tweet right here. So I'll just read it out. Watch it, but he did come out with the reasons why. This is what he said: "The Last of Us showrunner Craig Mason on the way they cut the death of Alice the dog. There are 2 rules in Hollywood: 1, don't spend your own money; 2, don't kill a dog." Plus, it's because it's live action, the nature of violence becomes much more graphic. It's very disturbing, and in our conversation, we're like, this is probably 1 death too many.
Well, you're not committing to the revenge plot then. You're not committing to the themes that this story is trying to tell. Like, I understand what they're saying, but you need to make Ellie do these monstrous things in the excuse of avenging Joel. So you can question, was she morally right? But now it's like there's been the only bad thing she did in this version objectively has been killing Nora. That's all she's done. In the game, she kills hundreds of people, tortures people, does all this stuff, stabs countless people in the neck with a knife and everything. And it's like, you don't have that same connection of like, should she have done all these things, and can she redeem herself and stuff? The whole question of like the cycle of violence and everything, it's not done in the same way. And it's just like, so I get what he's saying there, but I just think it's stupid. I think it's you're not committing. They're scared to make people not like Ellie. They're scared, but you already have made them
again.
Like her.
It's too late.
So because you made so instead of making her this cold-hearted killer, you made her a complete moron who just stumbles into situations that and almost gets killed, and then is like a brat the entire. I don't know. I don't like her characterization. This is coming from someone who, like I said, who wasn't a fan of the game. I still don't like it, and it's not Bella Ramsey's fault. Partly, I think Bella Ramsey is to blame because I do think that the casting is jarring to some fans, and I just think that they just look too young. They don't look 19 or 20 like a full-grown woman who can be in this situation. The way they dress her too, they give her the baggy clothes. She looks like a child, Ellie, in this show. But the writing just doesn't make her that way, and you've made her this unlikable version that is just not Ellie. There's fans of the game who think this is Ellie, and there's fans of people who didn't like the game Part 2 who don't like this either. So it goes back to what I was saying about episode 6. Who is this for? Who is this season of TV for? It's for casuals,
people who have not fan of the games,
not played the game,
not played the games.
And that's how you know that they failed. They failed in this season because fans of the game could enjoy the first season like we did, but also fans who had not watched, people who had not played the game, could also enjoy it because I saw people watch it, like my girlfriend Lauren, who had not played the game before and enjoyed it. You're not gonna that's the only demographic you can possibly hope to get now still. Because everyone else has checked out. Fans of both games, fans of only the first game, we're all gone. We don't care. So now it's like we get in that sequence, and then we get this dumb fade to black at the end, which is like, you wasted I let you live and you wasted it, and she holds the gun up and Ellie's like, no.
Black.
And then cuts to
same
black.
as they did in the game.
But do they care? No, well, they didn't have a gun. Was there a gunshot at the end of the game sequence?
I think there was. I can't remember. It's been a while, but
now we have to wait 2 years.
The way they did it is exactly the same as the game. And we'll go straight into the game.
Yeah, because in the game they show the flashback of Abby's dad first, don't they?
Yeah, it goes straight into Abby's flashback.
But because in the show they don't need to, because she's already explained to Joel why she wants him dead. So they just showed us Seattle Day 1, and then it's like, oh, we're gonna see Abby's point of view. No one cares. No one cares. And if you're a fan of the game, fair enough. I'm hoping that they do Abby's story justice and you like it. I'm
a fan of the game.
But that's great.
Do you want me to tell you my thoughts though?
Please.
Because after this season, I was just like, I'm done with Ellie. But then as soon as we jump into Abby, and then we see her walking, and it shows the whole base of WLF in the stadium, and then dramatic music play, and then Seattle day one. I was like, oh, season 3 is gonna be good, but like you said, people are gonna be checked out by the time it's out.
Gonna wait 2 years. 2 years for and then did she shoot Ellie? Did she shoot in the head or the leg, or did Tommy dive in the way, or something? Or did Dina jump in and save her? We've got to wait 2 years to find out, and no one's gonna care. And it's like, we're gonna get the version of their fight in the game compared to this is gonna be laughable. I'm telling you right now. There's a body about Abby being like not swole, like jacked, or do you not care? Because some people like take it or leave it. I think some people.
I feel like it's like a feature they added in the game because like Ellie was more like gunplay and Abby's same. She uses guns, but she can actually attack like infected. She can actually fist fight infected, which was like a good feature if you're really good at dodging and you save bullets. But that was like. I think just 2 separate body builds, like skinny, stealthy, gun shoot, while muscular.
But this isn't, but they don't have that issue in the game. But I get that, but I also think like, I think it would have been cool, sort of like accuracy. I don't know. I'm sort of like, take it or leave it. I'm not really bothered. If anyone is who wished that Abby was like, muscular like in the game, in the comments, please let us know and what your thoughts about it and why you think they should have done it if you think that. But yeah, we're sort of like not really bothered.
Just trying to remember. Is it Caitlin who plays Abby?
Yeah, she's great. Like, the episode she's been in, she's far more believable, and it makes me laugh thinking I'm just looking at her thinking she would have fucking nailed Ellie in this. She would have nailed it, absolutely. And nailed
she was fan casted as well. That was the crazy thing. Like people wanted her to be.
Well, she auditioned,
but she was too old for the role, and I'm like,
I think they should have cast her as well. I think they should have casted someone. For I don't know. Again, I don't mean to speak ill of Bella Ramsey because they were great in season 1, but this season they've just not delivered at all, and I don't buy. And it actually irritates me how wrong of a casting it is. And the writing is also who knows? Maybe if the writing was just there instead as well, and they made her the same badass survivor, I wouldn't be bothered because I'm sure they would have done a good job with it because they did a good job with the first season. But the fact that they made her this bumbling idiot that has to be saved all the time, she's not committed to the revenge, she's not, a survivor, I'm checked out. And now what you've created is a version where Abby is now more likeable and more interesting based on the 2 episodes she was in than Ellie. Whereas in the game, you're clearly meant to at least be conflicted, but now they've really messed it up, and now I just think you've checked out. So congratulations, Craig and Neil, you've really nailed it. So now no one can. It's just.
I'll tell you what, though, because we're gonna be doing a review of our thoughts of season 2, and I feel like we're gonna say a lot, and I feel like a lot of it's gonna be talking about Bella Ramsey as well.
Yeah,
but I feel bad for the actress, but
I do too. I think it's out of order. What's the stuff that's been said online is out of order.
She doesn't deserve it.
No, not at all. But that doesn't mean that you are, in the same way that Laura Bailey didn't deserve the death threats either, it does not mean that the characters and the writing is immune to criticism because of that. It's not a get out of jail free card. You can't just pretend that isn't a thing. So, yeah.
Yeah, like I said, guys, we will be doing a review of The Last of Us Season 2, and we will have a lot to say, and... But yeah, that's
good
it, Scott.
There were some good things, some good things too about it.
No, we'll be going through the good stuff. We'll probably start with the good stuff, and then we'll go into like the negative stuff that this show, the changes they've made. But that's it. We reviewed all 7 episodes of season 2. How do you feel now, mate? That it's finally over.
I'm exhausted. I'm mentally drained. I feel good. I feel like it's we've I just think that it's a thing that's going around right now. Everyone's talking about it. I think it's important to give our opinion on it. I think it's also important to, make sure that people are aware that we're not the same, internet trolls that some of the people are. Like, we have our own opinions about stuff, but that does not mean that we condone anything. If anyone's watching this thinking of sending a hate to anyone, please do not. It's wrong. But that doesn't mean that people aren't immune to criticism, especially writing. And I think that if the more that happens, the more people will listen and and not get away with it and try and change things, and that's the only hope, because we're fans of it. At the end of the day, we can complain all we want, but we are fans of this world and these characters. That's why we care. If we never cared about the first game, if I wasn't a fan of it, I wouldn't be saying any of this stuff. But we're fans and we want it to do well. and when it doesn't, that's what the frustration comes out. That's when the frustration comes out, rather. So yeah.
Well said. Well said.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but we'll end the episode for there, mate. But
Cool.
that's it now. That is our last review of The Last of Us episode 7. But we will be back doing a full review of the whole season 2 of The Last of Us. So. Thanks for watching, guys, and if you like the podcast, then give it a like on YouTube, and if you're listening to us on Spotify, then hit a follow and keep up to date with all our latest episodes that we release. But for now, thanks for watching, and we shall see you in the next episode, so take care, guys.
Do 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 do. This is my guitar. Do 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 do.
Goodbye, guys.
Do 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 do.